Happy Saturday and welcome back to my channel, y'all. I'm getting ready to head to Toasted Yolk to celebrate our favorite bartender, Faith. It is her 20th birthday. So we're gonna do that, but first I'm gonna get ready. It is a rainy day here in Houston. So I finally replaced, after like 6 years, my fridge in my bathroom. Yes, I've always had a fridge in my bathroom in this house because we have the spa tub right next to it. And so our whole dream was that we were gonna, sit in the tub and sip champagne, and that shit has never happened. But I like having drinks in the bathroom because I spend a lot of time in here doing makeup, doing hair, watching TV, like all the things. So it's nice to have stuff in here that I can just grab and keep going. So I'm gonna show you really quickly. We got it during Prime Day. I just have been waiting for the right one. Our last one blew I think 6 years ago during one of the last major hurricanes here in Houston, and it just gave out. So let me show you really quickly our new fridge. So this is our new fridge in here, and it has a little lock on it, which I'm super excited about because the kids like to steal my Alani News and my husband buys all these mini sodas. We usually have a whole pack from Costco, and I think there's like 30 of them in there, and we went to Costco last weekend and there's one left. So I have to be able to hide those too. I do have some mini bottles of champagne in here. I have this Hoopty spiked iced tea, and then I have a whole bunch of Poppy here. It is so good. And my absolute favorite, my Dr. Pepper Creamy Coconut Zero. My favorite. But I have my Alani's in here to hide them from my oldest child. So I'm actually gonna grab one for this morning to start the day. All right, so we have the AC guy here right now. We thought that our AC blew when the power surged multiple times the other day, but praise Jesus, it did not. So what happened was we were out of air conditioning for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden it popped back on when we were home yesterday. Well, when I got home from work, I saw it back on, and I thought that my husband had fixed it and didn't tell me. So when he got home from out of town, because he was in Dallas this week and had to drive back just for a few hours to try to figure out what was going on with it. And then he had to take off again because he had more work he had to do. So I thought that he had secretly fixed it and not told me. But when he got home last night, he said, no, he thought I was lying. I said, no, Aubrey said you went in your closet and fixed something and said you forgot about something. He said, no, I went in my closet to get some shit. And that was it. So anyway, we have a history of apparently the lines in the air conditioning unit get clogged with gunk because there's always water running through the air conditioner. And in the past, we had that issue several years ago, and one of the air conditioning guys went up there to clean it and poured bleach and then used some type of pressure. And we didn't realize that the line actually connects to our kids' bathroom sink. And so when we walked in there, I opened the door to go do something, and there was literal slime, shit, goop all over the bathroom. It was all over the ceiling. It was all over the walls, everywhere. I have photos of it. I will see if I can insert it right here. I was mortified, didn't know what happened, thought my kids had a shit fight in the bathroom. It was bad. Took me days to get it cleaned up. That company that had come and done that, I showed it to them, and basically they were like, oops, so sorry, and left me to clean it up myself. So I think I was pregnant with Colton at the time, but I was so pissed. And after that, we've never used them again. We've always used somebody else, but we just found a new person who's highly recommended in the neighborhood. And so he's here taking a look. And basically what he said was the same thing. So our air conditioner shuts off because the lines get clogged, and it's super clogged right now. And so it needs to be cleaned. So that's what the plan is at this point. So I also recently, I'm kind of excited to go back to toasted yolk because I haven't been, I was off my medication for months because nobody had it in stock, the Zepbound or the Wegovy. And now I'm back on the Wegovy because that's what they have in stock. And, honestly, it works really well for me. I had gained 10 pounds when I was off of all of my meds. And I think I told y'all in a previous that I really felt like it was important for me to get back on these because that feeling of satiety had disappeared again, and that freaks me out. And so I wanted to be able to get back to a space where I felt when I was full and all of that. So I'm finally back to that spot. And literally after I just took my 3rd dose of Wegovy, and I've already lost the 10 pounds plus some. So I think a lot of that 10 pounds was water weight, just that fluid weight. But now I'm the lowest that I've been. So I'm around 180, 181, which makes me very happy. I want to get down to 170, and that's where I want to stay. By health standards for my height and my age and all of that is 150. But I think I've told y'all before, I have been 150 and I looked ill, like needed to go to the hospital, looked ill. So that's just not for me. Also, my rib cage sticks out already. And so as I lose more weight, it sticks out even more, and it actually becomes painful because I can't turn. It already bothers me enough right now. But when I sleep at night, I'm a stomach sleeper. And so when I'm sleeping, it hurts. So I don't want to lose that much more because of that. So, but also I tend to feel healthy and look healthy when I'm around 170. So, that's where I'm at on that journey. But where I was going with this was when I am not on my meds, alcohol doesn't bother me. Like I don't have an issue. Like I'll crave it. I'll be like, ooh, I could use a drink tonight or whatever. But when I'm on Wegovy and Zepbound, it didn't affect me either. Alcohol was no big deal with Zepbound, but Wegovy for some reason, and I've seen it do it now too, but when I was on it the whole time before, alcohol is such a turnoff for me. Like I'll have a glass and that'll be it. Because I don't know, it just doesn't taste the same. It's not something that I'm wanting. And I actually have a lot of friends also on Wegovy that have said the exact same thing. They said they stopped drinking when they were taking Wegovy because their desire for alcohol just completely disappeared. And then again, when you drink it, you're like, meh. So last night, my favorite beer is still that Shiner Lemon Shandy. And I drank one, and then I was like, I'm going to try another. And I opened the other and basically ended up pouring the whole thing out because I was like, I'm done. And used to, I could have like 6 of them and not, like it was no big deal. So, and champagne, that's the sad part for me, is that champagne right now it makes my stomach hurt with this medication. So I'll usually have, if I have any at a restaurant, I'll have 1 glass and that is it. Like we went to dinner for Colton's birthday the other day and I got a glass of champagne and I ended up ordering a second one because I was like, why not? And I left the whole thing there. Paid for it, left the whole thing there because I was like, I took a sip of it and I was like, nah. So this Wegovy is very helpful in a whole bunch of ways. So, but anyway, I think it's a great thing that we're finding out that our air conditioner does not have to be replaced because we actually have, this is our 3rd air conditioner since we've lived here. We built this house 13 years ago and we have had power issues in this neighborhood for many, many years. Actually, the entire time we've lived here, we've had power issues. And look, I wanted to try this L'Oreal True Match. See what I think. But, I'm gonna try that today and see what happens. But I was so frustrated because I said, okay, great. Like if we have to replace this again, because you know, an air conditioner is not a couple $100, right? It's thousands and thousands of dollars. The last 2 times we've had it replaced, it was between 10 and 12,000. And that's just not feasible, right? And usually in 13 years, you've had 1 air conditioner, and we've already had 3 because of these power issues. And so I was ready to pull my hair out with the idea of, now this is going to be our 4th air conditioner in 13 years. And I went online to our power company, and basically it says they're not responsible for things like that happen. Because we were like, you know what, we should file a claim with them, because we're finding out it's like the power issues in our area are related to the network or the infrastructure. So our area where we live grew very quickly, and apparently they didn't properly prepare for it. And that is what's causing a lot of these issues. But the weird thing is that it doesn't necessarily happen everywhere in our area. But like when the power goes out, it's always our neighborhood on the map. Like you look at our neighborhood, and our neighborhood is the only one that's gone out. So there's something going on, and has been for, again, 13 years, that has to do with our neighborhood and the electrical infrastructure that needs to be fixed. So, but I did see online with all the stuff that's happened with the hurricane, they are talking about the fact that it is a bigger issue around the entire city of Houston, and that there are other people who also, regardless of storms and hurricanes, have had issues. Like we can have a gorgeous day outside and the power just goes out for no reason, and it will be out for days. So we that's why we ended up getting some portable generators, because you know, you can only file with your insurance company for bad food so many times before they say like, we're not gonna cover you anymore. So we decided, especially having a family our size, and we have 3 refrigerators, that we needed to just make sure that we were able to continue protecting our food. So that's that. I don't know. Maybe it'll get better. I feel like it's super patchy. You may not be able to tell in this light, but I can see it in the mirror. It doesn't look... I don't know, I may just have to roll with it because I don't want to take it all off and start over. I may just have to pile stuff on top of it and just deal with it. But there's areas of the skin here that I can see are not really covered. It looks really patchy. Let me see what I can get away with here. Y'all listen to this music while I dab away.
Still remember the feeling. I wanna dance till I can't no more. All of this time.
This stuff that the dermatologist gave me to try out for that spot that I was telling y'all, that actinic keratosis. I don't know. Skin is not my thing. It is incredible. So after 1 dose, that thing flaked off already, but I'm continuing for the 5 days like she told me, to make sure that everything, all the layers come up and it's all gone. So, but that stuff is a miracle worker. All right, so and I really went to like the best new dermatologist. I'm so happy that I found one that's really good, easy to get into, a nurse practitioner. And don't get me wrong, I love doctors, love them. But I tend to connect better with nurse practitioners just because I have always felt like nurse practitioners tend, after being nurses, like you have that built-in bedside manner skill already. and you know how to deal with people and talk to people. That doesn't necessarily mean that you like doing it or that you're good at it, because I'm not a people person. But in the right setting, I obviously know how to conduct myself. But nurse practitioners tend to make you feel like they have the time to listen to you, and they want to hear what it is that your concerns are, and they give you that time. They're not like turn and burn. And so I tend to appreciate being able to see a nurse practitioner more than I do a physician, because oftentimes too, like, physician schedules are so much busier than nurse practitioners are. And so they do have the dedicated time to be able to sit and talk to you, whereas a physician might have 30 patients on their schedule, so they got to keep going, but a nurse practitioner might have 12, right? So I just feel like sometimes, or for me, I can often connect better with a nurse practitioner than I can with a physician. Although the physicians that I do have in my life are incredible. But I will tell you that I pick and choose my healthcare team. Always have. And I've been very blessed to have the connections that I do so that I can get the care for myself and my family that they need and deserve. And that's another reason that I am so passionate about healthcare advocacy in general, is just the fact that there have been so many times in my life when, if I didn't have the knowledge and the connections that I have, me and my family could have been in really big trouble. And so when you stop and think about people in the community that don't have healthcare experience or background and don't have connections and don't have that health literacy like those of us who work in healthcare do, they're really at a disadvantage and in a bad spot. Like, what do you do? I've talked before about my son, and one of the times that he had a mental health crisis and I didn't know what to do. But because of the place that I work and because of the connections that I have, I was quickly able to figure something out. I didn't get like preferential treatment. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, I have been referred to Texas Children's outpatient psychiatry. And because before he could go back to school, he had to be cleared by a psychiatrist. Well, they had an 8-month wait. And so I asked them, what am I supposed to do, right? And so all of these parents who have like acute issues with their kids, if they can't get into one of those facilities to get their kids cleared, the only option is putting them in a psych mental health facility. And you don't want to do that to your child. I did clinicals in one of those, and I would not send my child there. Not to say that they're bad. Like, I think that some people really do need that inpatient facility. But for a child who is just having an acute crisis and needs assistance, that's not necessarily the answer. So because I had other resources, I was able to figure something out, because obviously my kid could not be out of school for 8 months while they waited to get him in, and nor could he wait 8 months to get the help that he needed. So we actually have a community resource center in our area that is operated by my organization, and I was able to take him there the next morning and get him seen by a licensed psychiatrist, and was able to get him the help he needed and also get him cleared to return to school. They had initially, the psychiatrist told me, he was like, honestly, there's nothing wrong with your son. It was at the time that his hormones were starting to surge. And so he said, this is 100% normal for boys this age. So but, oh man. So anyway, we got very lucky, but there's a lot of cool things that have come from my son's journey and the people that we've talked to about it. And so I'm very proud that he was willing to speak up for himself when he was struggling. But I also feel for these parents who don't know that they have other options and they don't have to wait 8 months for that, or they don't have to put their child in a mental health facility. Because the other thing is that when you admit your child to a psych mental health facility, you're not allowed to go visit them. So you don't know what's going on. You don't, like, they want to disconnect them from everything. Which again, I think that if that's the proper treatment for the diagnosis they're having, that's very different than like what my son was having. But we learned so much from it. And that also helped me start some of my advocacy for things like that, because I mean, I was upfront and honest. I went and talked to my CEO about it, and he agreed, like, we've got to do better with like making sure that people in the community understand all the resources they have available and where to find it and how to advocate, because that's not, oftentimes people just don't know where to go to get help, you know? And even with the VA, you know, the VA is so overcrowded, and I think that keeps a lot of our military men and women from going and getting the help that they need. As you know, I have a love and strong dislike for the VA because of their wait times and because of their inability to care for people in a timely fashion. My father died from an acute condition that could have been caught and treated, and he could still be here, but that's a story for another day. So, but I just think in general, you know, there's a lot of people who need access and need resources to get help or get care. You know, we're seeing a lot of patients with cancer that have had it for many years and not done anything. And had they caught it early, it would have been curable. But now they're at a point where their only option is, you know, some type of palliative treatment in hospice. And it sucks because they didn't know where to go or how to get care. They didn't have normal PCP follow-ups where they were able to get the care that they needed regularly, or they didn't go, like, women are passing up their mammograms because they're like, well, it was fine this year, so I don't need to go for 5 more years. That's not how it works. You've got to go every single year, because we are seeing so many more women that go religiously every single year, and then 1 year it just randomly is there. So you never know when it's going to pop up, but if you find it, like, finding it early is the key, because it can be fixed and treated and you can live a long, happy life. But if you find it at your next mammogram 5 years later, when it's had time to grow and now metastasize, and now every organ you have is infiltrated with disease, your options are very limited. So, but again, I think it's important for us to make sure that people understand what should be done and how to get it done. And I think that we need to do a better job of ensuring that people have access to that stuff, because I mean, even still, like, that's one of the reasons I loved being able to get to this dermatologist office, is because a lot of dermatology offices, you have to book 6, 8, or 12 months in advance because they don't have space. Like, they're so booked up. Same with GI doctors. Like, when you need a stat colonoscopy for a patient that you think has colorectal cancer or colon cancer or whatever, I mean, it's taking 6, 8 weeks sometimes to get a colonoscopy. And just because, like, the sheer volume of people, I love that people are getting colonoscopies, but we need more GI doctors then, because these people's lives depend on it. And if you have an aggressive cancer like colon cancer, you cannot wait 8 weeks to start treatment. That will multiply exponentially before you start your treatment. So I feel like the healthcare community needs to really sync up together better and figure out how to help educate and provide better resources. So I think that a lot of us are doing what we can with what we have right now, but I do think that there's a lot of potential. And in the future, you know what? It's going to be something as big as people stopping the focus on what their organizational name is and deciding that we're all going to be partners in healthcare. and do what's best for the patients in our community and not care about, oh, well, I work for this person, or I work for this person, or I work for that person. Like, we just have to find a better way to collaborate and break down those walls and say, hey, I don't like, if you can offer my patient what they need, then I'm going to send them to you. And I don't care that you work for a potential competitor or whatever, but that is something that we do where I work as well. It's all about patient care and patient safety. And we don't care. We're going to go wherever we can get the fastest care for our patient. So that way we know, like, hey, can you see them tomorrow? And you're going to have those physicians that understand the severity and the importance of getting stuff done quickly. And they will move stuff around and say, absolutely. Like, I will see your patient. Send them now. We've had that happen multiple times too. Like, hey, they're in your office right now. Just send them across the street and we will take care of them right now. I mean, now that's good care. So I think that healthcare has so many opportunities, just globally. Global healthcare has so many opportunities, and we just need to do better. You know, we always talk about the fact that people in the US have some of the worst incidents of disease and cancer and medication dependence and all of these things, and other countries don't have that. I do think, I'm going to try not to get on my soapbox, but I do think it has a lot to do with what we're putting in our food these days, because other countries don't have all of the things that we have in our food. That's why you see kids like hitting puberty much earlier. You see a lot of the hormonal imbalances and mental instability and things like that. I truly believe it has to do with all of the additives and things that we are putting in our food. And you know, people are going to eat what's accessible and what's quick because, again, as Americans, we lead very busy lives. And so we don't have the time to go out and buy all the fresh vegetables and the fresh fruits and buy the stuff to make our own pasta and, you know, all of these things that other countries do. So I know that oftentimes that's people's argument of like, well, then cook at home, or, you know, make everything organic. Well, number one, organic food is extremely expensive, and most families in America cannot do that. And number two, I'm not going to tell somebody to start cooking at home more, because I will tell you what, I will have a bowl of cereal before I cook, because number one, I hate cooking. And number two, I don't have the time. When I get home from work, I'm freaking exhausted. And I want to eat a bowl of cereal, shower, and go to bed. So I just think, again, I'm not going to tell other people to do things that I wouldn't do, or that I wouldn't like force myself to do. All right, so I'll get off my soapbox now, but okay. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with my hair, because it's gross outside, but also I can't find my dry shampoo. I need to dig around and see, because I had the Living Proof dry shampoo, and that's what I need to put on there to refresh my hair a little bit, because I don't want to wash my hair until Sunday. So I'm gonna see what I can do with that. Oh, darn it, I put that up. I really love this pink slush. Oh, so good. I cannot have a lot of those. That's why I only buy like 3 at a time. And it'll usually take me a couple of weeks to drink them, because they mess up my gut for some reason. I don't know what's, again, we were talking about additives, right? There's something in them that just aggravates my stomach. If I have a lot, not if I just have one, but if I start having them more frequently, it really starts to bother me. But I'm glad too to have this, because my son has a fridge in his room, because all of his stuff was clogging up our fridge in the kitchen. So I was putting all of my drinks in there in his fridge, and I tell him, don't drink them, they're for me. But every time it's like if I didn't get to it fast enough, it would be gone. And he'd be like, well, I just figured you didn't want it because it was still here. So again, I'm glad that I found a new refrigerator. And luckily this one's bigger. The other one was a lot smaller. It was like half the size. But this one was double the size and super inexpensive. Okay. All right, I'll put my lipstick on last, but let me try to figure out what I'm gonna do with my hair. Okay, I finally found my dry shampoo. It's this one. And then my Living Proof wasn't a dry shampoo, but I'm gonna go to, I buy all of this stuff from TJ Maxx because they have a ton of Living Proof products there, and it's half the price that you would get at Ulta or Sephora. So I'm gonna go there today and see if I can find, and this one's almost empty. And then I have this texture spray too. I really like this Kristen S. I like these powder things, but y'all don't judge me when I pull my hair down because it's gonna look like a hot mess. It's really oily, if you couldn't tell. Whee!
I've been dreaming on the dance floor. I still remember the feeling. I wanna dance till I can't no more. All of this time I've been dreaming on the dance floor, dance floor. Tell me you still remember. One day we'll be together. It's you and me forever. Dreaming on the dance floor, dance floor.
So I don't usually like to put a lot of stuff in my hair, but because I'm gonna be washing it tomorrow night anyway, it's not that big of a deal. But normally during the week, if I'm between washes, because I only wash my hair every 7 days, and if I'm between washes, then I won't put all this junk in my hair except the heat styling spray. I will, and the anti-humidity, but I wouldn't put like the powder and all that kind of stuff in there. So now let's get this coif fixed. Oops, my light died. All right, let's take all of this out. I don't know why, but I just feel like I tried to put on something cute, and then I decided like it just wasn't my vibe today. I don't know. I wanted to be in jeans and oopsies, jeans and a sweatshirt. Sometimes I like when that happens, you know? Sometimes it's just nice to have jeans and a sweatshirt. Well, maybe I put too much texture spray in there, or texture stuff in there, because holy moly.
I still remember. I still remember the feeling. All of this time I've been dreaming. I wanna be there.
And that is the finished product. Thank y'all for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and I will see y'all next time.
Be there.